네, 안녕하세요. Hi everyone. I'm back with some legal issues today. 오늘은 제가 한국에서 많이 있는 좀 제도에 대해서 말씀드리고 싶어요. Today I'd like to talk about very unique legal system. I think it exists only in Korea. It's related to estate. 네, 이거는 유산이랑 관련된 내용인데요. Today I got a email from an expert in Korea. 오늘 제가 어떤 분한테 이메일을 받았습니다. She's a foreigner married to a Korean husband and her Korean husband passed away recently. 한국 분이랑 결혼한 외국인인데 이분의 남편이 돌아가셨습니다. And then she found out that he has quite a lot of debt. So she's a bit confused and she's worried and want to know whether she has to pay off her husband's debt after his death. 네, 그래서 지금 그 여자분은 자기 남편이 이제 빚을 남기고 돌아가셨으니까 이 빚을 내가 갚아야 하는지 걱정하고 있는 상황입니다. In this situation, in principle, 일반적으로는 the debt or any like positive property or negative property that the husband owned will be passed on to his wife and his children. 죽으면 그 재산은 배우자나 그 아이들한테 이제 다 pass on 해서 떨어지죠. 그래서 이제 뭐 부모님이 돌아가시면 아이들이 그 빚을 다 떠안는 이런 상황들이 됩니다. But sometimes it doesn't make sense that the surviving family has to pay all that debt. 가끔은 남은 가족들이 그걸 다 갚아야 된다는 게 말이 안 되는 것 같죠. So there is a special rule governing this kind of situation. So let's say that husband died and now he has more debt than the positive property. 지금 적극 재산보다 훨씬 부채가 많다. In those situations, the surviving families, they can just give up their right as heirs. 자신들이 상속인으로서의 권리를 그냥 포기할 수 있습니다. It is called 상속 포기. It is called the denunciation of inheritance. It's hard to find the exact term to describe the situation. It's more like I give up my rights and also I give up my duty. So basically, the surviving family will have the right to obtain the positive property that the deceased person left, and then they have the obligation or the duty to pay off any debt that the deceased left. So there is like two kinds of kind of like double sword thing. So he has to pay for the debt. The remaining family has to pay for the debt, but also can get the money if there is some. But if you think he has more debt in total than any positive property, then they can choose to give up their right as an heirs and say like, I would like to denounce my right or my obligation. So in that case, the surviving family will get nothing, and then but they are exempt from any obligation to pay to the creditors. 그래서 빚도 안 갚아도 되고 그 대신 재산도 하나도 못 받는 게 상속포기입니다. One caveat is that if I give up my right as heirs, then it will be that those debts and the right to get the positive property will be passed on to the next person in the line of inheritance. 상속 순서가 있어요. There is an order that there is a hierarchy or the order that the estate will be passed on. The first priority will be the spouse and the children of the deceased. 첫 번째 우선순위는 배우자와 그 자녀입니다. And then the next like a senior right holders will be the family, then his parents, and then it'll go to his family's like siblings. So there's a kind of hierarchy. If you just give up your right, then your right and obligation will be passed on to your in-laws. So usually if you don't let them know that you gave up your rights or obligation, then they will be bound by the obligation and the rights they had no idea. So to prevent that situation, you should tell them that I gave up my rights as heirs, so now it's your turn, you should take care of it. If not, they will not know what they have to do. So sometimes it's hard because if you give up, then those rights and obligations will be passed on to the next person. And then if they give up too, then it will be passed on to the third in the line. So sometimes a person who didn't like talk to the deceased for a long time, haven't seen them for a long time, and very, very distantly related people, they might end up being the person who are bound by these kinds of rights. So if you consider their situations, then you can choose another path, which is called 한정승인. 한정승인 means that I limit my obligation to pay the debt to the amount of positive property. So let's say my husband left debt of $1,000, and he also has some money in his bank account, which is $400. In those situations, he has more debt, which is $600. But in those situations, there can be two options. One is to give up my rights as heiress, and then just say, oh, I won't care about it. I don't want to get 600, and I'll not pay 1,000 to the creditor. That's it. But the issue is, in those situations, the next person in the line will be bound by those obligations, and if they have no idea, they will lose their chance to denounce or give up their rights as heir. So the second option that I'm going to talk about is 한정승인, which means like if I have 400, what is it, 600 in the bank, in the saving. He left 600 in the saving, and I know that he has to pay 1,000 to a creditor. In those situations, I can just say like, I'll just pay the creditor to the extent that he has positive property, which is 600. So I'll say, I'll just pay the 600 that he left to the creditors, and for those 400 that cannot be recovered, bad luck. But I did my best. I did my numbers, I calculated, and I distributed what should be done. So that's called 한정승인. It means like I admit that I'm the heir, but I limit my obligation. I limit my obligation to pay the debt to the amount that the deceased has left. So it can be a very complicated process because I have to find out what are the remaining debts, and I have to see what are the remaining property, like the positive properties in the banks. So like you have to go through all the bank accounts. Sometimes you don't know which bank account your husband might have. So in Korea there is a total website where you can find like what bank information he had, like whether he owned a car, like what kind of property one person had. So if you use that information, it would be much more easier to find out what are the positive properties. But sometimes you don't know what kind of debt your husband or your wife has, because sometimes you just write a kind of note to somebody saying like, I'm borrowing this much, and then I'll pay you by when. So someday the creditor will come back to you with those kind of notes, and it's not recorded anywhere in public, so you might have no idea what are the debts out there, especially if you haven't talked to your husband for a while, like you didn't live together for the last 10 years. So it can be a very difficult, complex situation in those circumstances. So today I don't think I can give you like the exact answers how to solve this problem, because it's too complicated, but I like to give you some ideas about, like, if your husband or wife passes away, and then you aren't sure like about his financial situation after the death, I urge you to find it as soon as possible, because as I said, to give up your right as heirs, 상속 포기, there's only 90 days window. So after 90 days, you cannot do it. So even though you are too sad to do anything, you should check it first. And also for that 한정승인 thing, that you can limit your obligation to pay back to the amount that you own, to the amount that your husband or wife owns certain positive property. Those are also in those situations also that 90 days rule apply. So if you aren't sure about the financial situation of your deceased partner, please go find a lawyer and ask what are the options and how you can proceed on. It's critical sometimes, because nobody wants to be in that, right? So I hope this information helps you, and also I also really hope that the person who asked me this question will get the proper help she needs. I emailed her back, but sometimes it's not easy to help everyone because we are like so remotely located. I'm in Gwangju and sometimes they're in Seoul, so other than just providing some legal consultation or like emailing them back, sometimes it's not easy to provide like substantial legal assistance to all of them who need help. So yeah, I hope this option may help you in the long run. And if you have any questions or want to know any legal issues while you're in Korea, please let me know. You can leave a comment or just email me. I'll leave my email in the description section. Oh, by the way, I'll be on air from now on once a week in Gwangju Foreign, GFN, Gwangju Foreign Network, I guess. Yep, so I'll be on air once a week. So I'll address various legal issues in Korea. So if you are interested in, I don't know the show. I don't know the name of the show yet, but I'll keep you posted on it. Be safe and be happy. Bye-bye. If you didn't subscribe it yet, please subscribe my channel and like it. Thank you. Bye-bye.